Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I rise in strong opposition to the rider included in this bill that challenges the District of Columbia's right to home rule. So my amendment, one which I've offered in the past, is simple. By inserting the word federal in Section 810, it would allow locally elected officials in the District of Columbia to control the city's own funds and decide whether or not to make those funds available for the reproductive health care services it deems as best for its residents. It's really shameful that once again, low-income women in the district have become a target of this bill. Here we go again. Another battle in this war against women. This harmful policy rider is a clear violation of the District of Columbia's home rule. It marginalizes the city and its residents, and it blatantly impedes upon the ability of the district to self-govern. No other jurisdiction or state is told how to use its locally raised revenue, so why should we force Congress's view on the District of Columbia, or some members of Congress's view on the District of Columbia? To be clear, removal of the D.C. abortion ban would not alter the current prohibition against federal funding of abortion services. The Hyde Amendment currently forbids federal funding for low-income women on Medicaid. Despite my personal view that the Hyde Amendment should be overturned, that provision would remain unchanged. My amendment deals only with the unfair anti-home rule restriction to the district's ability to use its own revenues the way it so chooses. It's past time that Congress stop playing politics with D.C.'s home rule. The District of Columbia should be free to use its locally raised tax revenue in the way it deems best. Last weekend, the United States Conference of Mayors passed a resolution supporting women's reproductive rights and blasted extreme efforts to hinder access to health care. As mayors across this country work to provide services to residents with extremely tight budgets, I applaud their actions to pursue ways to improve women's safe and accessible access to comprehensive reproductive health care. Now, in the district, mind you, 81% of non-elderly Medicaid recipients are Black, and 13% are Hispanic. Additionally, 53% of residents receiving assistance are women. This means that of the Washingtonians whose access to abortion care would be restricted by local funding funds in this bill, the vast majority, 94%, are women of color. What are we doing? Just what are we doing? We're doing this against the request of the district, against the request of mayors across the country, and we're targeting women of color in only one city in our country. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't want any of my colleagues telling my district, my cities, Oakland, the largest city in my district, how to spend its locally raised revenues. Likewise, I'm sure that all of you, none of you, would want the same local autonomy for your cities in your district, and you would not want this restriction. Now, what D.C. does have is a brilliant and tireless representative in Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, who continues to fight on their behalf, even as many continue to fight to deny her a vote. And so we have to be able to allow her and the District of Columbia to enact their local rules and spend their local tax dollars like every other jurisdiction in America. The district's residents should be treated as fairly as we expect any other citizens to be treated. The federal government should not restrict the rights of D.C. residents to determine how their local tax dollars are spent, and allow the district's government to decide how best to assist its residents. This is an issue of home rule. None of you would want this happening in your own districts. So I urge you to support my amendment.